Okay, rulers, settle down. Ruler School is brought to you by Odyssey Games, where you can go to get singles for all your Force of Will and other trading card games, as well as these amazing patrons. Special thanks to guest lecturer member Vite Ramen. Thank you for your support. Class is in session. Hey rulers, DMO73 here, bringing you the deck profile for the red, white, black Wolfgang 2 list. This is my utility Wolfgang. It's designed to have a little bit more flexibility to it and a little bit more reach than we've seen before, and flexibility in terms of in the game one. I've had some pretty good success with it. It is certainly a little bit greedier in regards to the number of duplicates of demonic worlds that we're playing, and I'll kind of explain why as we go through. So obviously we're playing Wolfgang as the ruler. We're using him obviously a lot. We're flipping him for a bunch of different reasons. And then one of the things is we want him to kind of get killed as soon as we flip him as much as possible. We're actually playing 2 copies of Virgil in the main. One, because we can grab it off of Raise and Revive, which is great. 2, it gives us an additional threat for lethal that isn't just Terminus. That is really nice. And 3, it's a way to immediately kill Wolfgang as soon as we flip him. So that we can start searching again. So while also applying an additional threat. So very, very good card. Kind of a tech that we're bringing in there. Stone base wise, we're playing 4 stones of the 6 sages, 3 Heaven's Rift, and 3 Scorched Bales. You saw in the feature match that I was playing one of Ragnarok. I personally like playing one of Ragnarok, but that's just a personal preference. So if you're not playing that, you play 4-3-3. Going into the lineup of Demonic Worlds. So the reason why we're not playing nearly as many Demonic Worlds is because we're just kind of accepting that if we hit them, we hit them. If we don't, we don't. And we have multiple ways to be able to draw into them, not just searching to make them usable. So we wanted to free up deck space to not have to get into like a 47, 48, 50 card list that I've been seeing by accepting the limitations and kind of cutting down. So we have one, I'll go through this real quick. We'll have 1 Acheron, 2 Jewels, 1 Temple of the Dead, 1 Plains, because from my testing, we really only need Plains to resolve once, and once it does, you're good. You're not going to get it again. 1 Scorching Mountain Trail, 1 Forest of Darkness, 1 Permafrost, 1 Swamp of Sorrows, 1 Oil Pond, and then the ones that we are playing multiple of are 2 Paradise and 2 Graveyard. So the Graveyard so that we can life gain a couple of times, the Paradise so that if we have one in hand, we can still grab one off of the flip of Wolfgang. That's pretty much the only reason. And then we're also playing a single copy of First Layer, and that will close out our Demonic World list. So it is a little bit tighter on that list, but we have a lot of flexibility when we aren't playing those cards. So to start, we're playing obviously 3 Black Witch, card's absolutely great, just a really good body. 2 Terminus, I find 2 is enough, especially since we're also playing Virgil. Oh, sorry, we are also playing a single Amadeus, which is nice against like the Satan matchup. 2 Fallen Angel of the Chasm, and those are all our fallen. And then that's so that like we can get to, if we get to 5 off of Paradise, you can get Terminus and both Fallen Angels of the Chasm and have this nice little like complete barrier lockout, which is really, really nice. 2 copies of Virgil, as I said. 2 copies of Garion for some spot removal against Black Witches that can't be cancelled. 3 Residents. I'm only playing 3, I'm not playing 4. I find that with Dante kind of so prevalent and Estema kind of so prevalent, you don't really need more than 3, and you don't want to be giving them that value. Also, the other thing of reason why we're not playing Heart to Heart is because it's another card that can get cancelled by Garion, that if it gets canceled, we just lose all the value off it, as opposed to Residence, where if they cancel it, we're just going to get to bring it back later. And you can abuse the will production of Residence a lot more effectively than you can with Heart to Heart, so we've just kind of cut that from the package. 3 Fallen Angel of Black Tears to be able to once again deal with Black Witches, and also a cantrip, which is really nice. And then going into some of the other kind of tech here. So we're playing 3 copies of First Boon Cassius. The reason why is it creates this kind of incidental value where like you just, as you stand, just kind of RFG 3 cards when you've got Floating Will at the end of your opponent's turn, and you drew 3. It's really good. It also gets around Dante, which is really nice because it draws us into stuff. It sets stuff up for being able to play the Raise and Revive because we're like RFGing cards. Heaven forbid you RFG a Virgil, so then, you know, now suddenly you have a free Virgil to be able to play off of, you know, a set, again, drawing into that so that you can kill your Wolfgang very quickly. Like, this deck is all about options, and drawing 3 and being able to cast them from the RFG is really, really good for giving you that flexibility of options. 3 copies of Necronomicon Barrier, which we use for both the cancels of enters, for prevention of enters, and for the searches. To be perfectly honest, I have used this to search for demonic worlds a lot more effectively in this take on the list, because I'm also finding that enter effects are not doing as much right now. So the flexibility to be able to get the demonic world that I need has been really nice, which also assists us in running kind of a more limited package, because we can just find it when we need it. 3 copies of Raise and Revive. It's a removal spell. It gets us Terminus back from the RFG if people are like, hey, we're gonna do Battle Comes to an End and RFG it, or we're gonna use Suya and remove it. Like, great, Raise and Revive will bring it right back. And then 2 copies of Revealing the Power of Salvation. This is kind of just a really interesting tech, I think, to keep in the main. It's decided to be able to have us set up Scorching Mountain Trail, Power of Salvation against like Belial, just so we have like life loss avenues. Belial's not typically the hardest matchup because of Boon, but it Jewel to like make his Godzart cost more, but sometimes you just want to be able to close out the game a bit faster. And this is really nice. It also, you know, there are some discard things, and so sometimes you can get that extra value off of it. So there it is. It also has some additional life gain, which helps out in some matchups like Violet or other things. We are a little bit weak to Violet, I think, in this main board, but we're more teched to be what the current meta is. I think you sideboard some stuff to make it a little bit different, like Hunting Angel and stuff like that, to keep yourself more safe. But that is the list. I know people have been really interested to see what my lineup of Demonic Worlds is, and I hope you guys check it out. If you've been having success with Wolfgang too, I'd love to hear what kind of things you're doing differently, but try this out for yourself, and I hope you enjoy it. And until next time, this is DMO73 saying, last dismay.